introduction.
That's okay.
You were.
That's okay. Thanks for having me here tonight.
You're welcome.
I'm from West Hartford, Connecticut. I was the town council in West Hartford back a couple of years ago. I ran for Congress against John Larson in 2008. I worked building the party for about 4 or 5 years. I'm a member of the Tea Party in Connecticut. I did an interview today with the Yale newspaper, and they asked me, is that something you want to run on in Connecticut? And I said, under any moniker, anything that was trying to stop Obamacare, for the disaster it is, I don't care what it is, I'm proud of that. And so for me, the Tea Party moniker in Connecticut is very weak right now, but a lot of us have been fighting for years, and it was probably the proudest thing I've ever done in Connecticut. I have 3 children, from 26 to 20 years old. And our town in West Hartford is kind of funny. It was a Republican town for years. It became very liberal. I worked with Taxpayers Group for years, and we fought the town many years to get our taxes under control for the last 10 years. We just were rated by Family Circle as one of the top 10 places in America to raise a family. So I'm proud of West Hartford. I went to Hall High School, but I'm from the inner cities of Hartford, and I have an inner city experience. I was raised by a Marine, my father, in the construction business. So I'm a hands-on person. In our construction business for 40 years, I've worked at every level of the trades to multi-million-dollar projects. And if I saw the state of Connecticut as a construction project, I would tell you that the work that has to be done to move inside this project, to clear the debris, to shore what's failing, is going to take us time. We cannot overpromise what we can do. And that's a warning to all candidates and also advice to everyone running that what I've heard for 10 months in the race, I've been in this race since April 4th. As the governor was signing the gun bill, I registered to run all in. I'm not taking state welfare. I'm running with cash that I can find from the field. And I believe that if I can nationalize the race, we have some plans that I can take unlimited funds to nationalize this race. Because I believe it's going to take a lot more money than even Tom Foley is willing to put into this race. And we're at a very critical juncture. And for 10 months, what I've heard, and I've said it across the state, is the public, especially Democrat, hardworking, middle-class Democrats, want political blood. I'm Italian, and I have a tendency sometimes to get loud. That's what they want. They want his head. They want someone that's going to get out there. So I admire all the candidates that are running with me. They all bring different qualities. I bring something a little different. I'm a self-employed person that was, like I said, raised in the trades, and I handle the projects that are multi-million dollars, and you need to do this in phases. We must move the state in phases over time. The Democrats want us to say we're going to do it all in one day. This is the magic bullet, and this is the problem we're going to have if we try to overpromise. So the 3 things that I think that are going to change the race, number 1 is Common Core. And I'm live streaming an event in Portland on February 22nd with Common Core. I won't get into the details of it, but it's one of the most provocative things happening. I'm messaged constantly by teachers that are against it. On my Facebook page, we have thousands of people, and I interact with them. So Common Core is going to be a game changer for us. The governor's on the wrong side of history with that one. The second thing is going to be the gun movement. I carry a gun. I'm a hunter. I've carried a gun for 30 years. And I've had an experience in Miami, Florida, where I was caught in the Mariella boat lift in Miami when it happened, which awakened me to the fact of self-protection, when I had nothing to protect my sister, my aunt, and myself. And so when I came home from Florida in 1980, I decided to get into self-protection and realized you have no rights. And if you ever had that time thing happen to you, you'll realize that, well, a gun isn't just a gun. So I'm pro-Second Amendment all the way. I open carry. You'll see me in national TV ads wearing a gun. I'm going to put it right in the face of the liberals. There's nothing wrong with open carrying. There's nothing wrong with having a gun. This is something that's just a Constitution state. This is where I was born across the street where the Colt Peacemaker was made on Weathersfield Avenue. It's in my blood. And it's something that I think is in our party. It's what we are, and it's not about, the right-wing crazies with gun and AR-15s. The AR-15 is a defense weapon. The only people that use weapons offensively are criminals. Even the police use them defensively. So the liberal media and the liberal agenda has moved and gamed the tragedy of Sandy Hook. It missed all the points. There was no public hearing. I'm ashamed of everyone who would vote for anything that didn't have a public hearing. Never again can we do that. The third principle beyond Common Core and gun rights that's going to change this election is tax reform. My plan, one of my plans, is to eliminate the inheritance tax. We're losing all the old-timers who live in Connecticut. We need to phase that out. We need to also phase in something for college graduates. Two of my children live in New York City. My daughter works for Eminence Capital on Park Avenue, a large hedge fund, and my son Joey works for Saturday Night Live. They went to the city after being raised in West Hartford, our premier school system, where I was a liaison on the Board of Ed, and they exported, and we're seeing it everywhere. So 4 years after graduation, I'd like the state legislature as policymaker, as a governor, to start the implementation of tax incentives for them and their income tax lowered for 4 years as they try to get out of the home, get their own apartments, if there's any jobs in Connecticut. So we need to look at keeping our educated children, our investments in Connecticut. We're losing, but that's the second one. The third one is a sales tax phase out. Now, I know a lot of people have always thought and talked about income tax, but when I looked at Rob Simmons, Yankee Institute, his list of blasts for 10 months ago, I worked on it for months, with some pretty powerful people in economics. We looked at it, and we realized New York has 8.75% sales tax, Massachusetts 6%, and Rhode Island 7%. Connecticut is geographically located perfectly, where everyone comes to our state, and they wear down our roads and whatnot. If we look to index and phase out sales tax over 7 years on products only, services would come later, then we could start the process where people would come to Connecticut, as they do, for tourism, for purchasing their big screen TVs. You don't pay income tax if you have no jobs. So sales tax is something, I heard the governor mention that on the State of the State about sales tax. So the years are going up and people are realizing we need to take our liabilities and learn how to turn them into assets. And so there's a lot that we're not putting out yet, but we'll be putting out soon, much more detail. And I like what Mark Bott had to say. The details, the plans, the ideas, the public wants solutions from us. They want the solutions. It's not my plan versus your plan. We need an a la carte, open conversation with the public about what we need to do as Republicans and not overpromise. I'm willing to do that. I've been doing that for 10 months. And we will have a primary no matter what it takes. I am known for getting signatures, so if I wasn't blessed to get the nomination in West Hartford when I fought a no-bid crony development called Blueback Square, which was just sold, and the people that owned it left the country and were never tied to the bonds. It's crony capitalism. I was able to get 5,000 signatures, 4 to 5,000 in West Hartford 5 times, and I did it, 3 times, and I did it in 30 days. So to get 7,500 signatures is nothing for me. It's what that's how I entered politics. I hope that it doesn't come to that. I think it won't. But there will be a healthy debate, and a healthy primary would be great for us. I'm in the cities now, and I believe that recruiting the 50% Spanish population that is not registered to vote is, for me, we're moving into the cities of the Spanish vote right now. They're in the summer, they're in the city for the primaries. There's many other ways that we can recruit and build our party base, from 410,000 to 500,000. A primary can be very healthy. We're not going at each other. I'm the person, as you all know, that would probably be the heaviest hitter if I was going to bomb you. And I vowed we wouldn't do that, and we're not going to do that. Malloy said yesterday they're going to beat each other up. Now I put on Facebook to the governor, right to him, no, we're going to beat you up. So this guy's going down. We need to stick together, and we'll have our differences. Hopefully I can keep the team to the right, and I'm the dark horse, and I intend on winning the whole thing. Thank you very much, and take questions if I have any time.
Well, just one quick question. Given your experience in business and the fact that Connecticut is really at the bottom of the pile, if there was ever an anti-business state, it was Connecticut. The challenge is to restore what I'll call a culture of business. And just to make the point, there was a time in our history when this tiny little state was number 2 in patents awarded every year. We got more patents in this state than 49 other states. This little state.
Well, this state was the provision state until 1959. The General Assembly voted to make it the Constitution state. We supplied America and the world. And this is why my sales tax, with having people come, will bring us back to that time when we sold and emptied our shelves. Where with sales tax phase out, people would be buying. Businesses would be hiring, keeping full-time, overtime. The income tax would be a tax shift over. That's what it occurred. Anyway, I'm out of time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That's okay. Thank you.